All right. What's going on, everyone? Dan the Glass Man here. You're watching the Glass Man's World. I'm going to add a little sticker in here just for fun. There we go. All right, so how you guys doing today? Dan the Glass Man here. So we are about to get started with making some really cool mushroom pendants here. Inspired by Revere Glass. I want to give a shout out to Revere Glass. Thank you so much for the inspiration for uploading that video recently and showing how you make your detailed amanita mushroom pendants. You know, with the red caps and the white dotted red caps. Very beautiful. I actually should have brought the one that I made so I could show you mine. Come on, maybe I could find it real quick. I'm trying to think, where did I put it? Where did I put it? I'm trying to remember where I put it now. Let me go grab it real quick. Give me 1 second. And then I'm gonna go take a hit and do a dab real quick. So I'll be right back. And then we'll get this party started here. Alright, you guys, sorry about that wait there. Dan the Glass Man here. I'm back. I had to go and get me some water real quick. And also, I wanted to make sure that I had the mushroom to show you the mushroom pendant. Alright, so let me open this up and I can show it to you. And you can see the actual detail of it and everything here. So this is the Amanita mushroom there. Let me also just make sure that my camera, I'll use the Norwex OptiCloth here and just make sure that this is all nice and clean. That way we can get the best detail that we possibly can. I don't know how detailed I can get in because I think we're zoomed in right now. Yeah, it doesn't. Alright, well, whatever. Let's get started and make some, let's make some more here. Woo! Be cool if I could just hang that right there. Somehow. How could we hang that from above? Another time, another day. Alright. So, gotta give a shout out to Revere Glass for posting up the video on the how-to on how to make a really nice Amanita mushroom. And, you know, the way that I did it was a little bit different than the way he did it. So, you know, a little bit of my own style compared to his. And that's, you know, that's how it is. Sometimes that's how it works in the glass business. Sometimes you make things a little bit different than others, but still it comes out just as beautiful. So the difference is he did an encasement where he drew the lines all the way around, or sorry, he encased it with clear glass all the way around the stem and the cap, whereas I did a push, basically stabbing the stem in, stabbing the mushroom into clear glass, or encasing clear glass over, however you want to look at it. So we're going to get started here and just cleaning up this glass, making sure we're always using the Norwex OptiCloth here, which always gives us beautiful, beautiful detail. Just really nice. It always just removes all the lint, all the mini microfiber debris, any sort of fingerprints or anything like that. You always want to remove that. Alright, so we were talking about possibly doing some glow in the dark, and my wife had mentioned that she would really love a purple one. Now I don't know if I have purple or a decent purple. This actually could be a really nice dark purple right there. So we can test out this color. This is a brand new color I've never used, but it may work just beautiful. Alright, let's see what's going on with this here. Alright, so I'm just going to get this ready here real quick. I also want to just get it in the flame and see how it reacts in the flame. Putting it in right away, does it pop? You know, some glass is very reactional to the flame and will just pop right off right there. You know, whereas this one, you know, you put it in, fine. There's no, I don't know what that was. Hold on a sec. That's what I thought. Yeah, a spider just went off the table and down my leg, which I don't like spiders. Well, where are you gonna go, sir? Nowhere. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Alright, welcome to the afterlife. Alright, so that was creepy. Gonna see how this purple pulled. It's not bubbling. This purple looks really nice. I don't see it doing any sort of color changing. So I don't think it's any sort of like a chromium color or anything like that. Maybe cadmium. Let's see how that looks. That looks like a really nice purple actually. It stays all purple. Goes back to the purple, no color change. There's no flame reduction or oxidization or anything like that. All right, we're gonna get started here. So I already have a pre-pull of the stem here, which is we got some butterscotch with some dark multi on top, mixed with a little bit of some white line work in there, and that's just a little bit of extra detail work just to make it look like a really nice mushroom stem there. I'm just going to pull off the tip and get rid of that. Alright, so now we have this all ready to stab in. So that'll be our mushroom stem. And then we have our two pieces of clear glass here. Alright. Now we're just going to put one there. We're going to get started here. I don't know if that's the best angle or not. Maybe that's a little bit better. So I got you on a completely different stand today. So you might have a little bit of movement. Alright, so I'm going to bring up the video here just to check the video quality. Make sure that the video quality is alright here. I'm going to bring that up a little bit more centered for you. So like I said, Revere Glass, you know, the way he started was he made his stem and then he encased the stem with clear, like a clear rod, you know, something like this. So he took a clear rod and then encased it, just basically melted down a line around each side of the stem. And whereas what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stab the mushroom, or stab the stem in, and usually when you do that it'll mushroom out. But if you make sure that you get this whole bottom portion of the, or well, I call it the bottom, but this the tip of the rod, if you get that portion nice and molten, you can actually stab that directly in really deep without it actually mushrooming out, without that color getting stopped. So you just want to penetrate a lot of heat up into more of the rod area instead of just the tip. You know, when we're doing the mushroom stab, we're heating up only the tip, that way you can stab it in and it hits a part that's really solid there. Alright, so we're just going to get this nice and white hot. And I'm just going to take this. I'm not even going to heat it up on the tip. Usually I'll heat up the tip to help spread out the mushroom. And this time we won't do that. We're just going to stab it in, and then it's going to hit that point where it's going to want a mushroom. And as we stab it in, we're going to pull it back out so it doesn't mushroom. And also, you're not going to have to melt down as much air bubble out of that center there. So here we go, stab it in, get it in there real nice, and then pull it back out just slightly. Bam. And there's our mushroom stem in there, all stabbed in there. There's a little bit of air bubble, but since we pulled it back outward, it's just standing, floating in there. You know, it tries to mushroom up a little bit on that tip on the bottom there, but we pulled it back out and worked out just fine. All right, let me make sure I have the volume off on this here, and then that way I can also chat live with you guys. So if you're a glass blower and you're watching, let me know. Or if you're just if you're not a glass blower and you just love glass, you know, let me know in the comments below or in the chat, in the live chat. If you can hear me, go on ahead and press yes, or sound is good, or just let me know that the audio is good. I believe that the video's all right. It looks like the video's okay and not stuttering today. All right, so this is how I get my mushroom in there, just like that. Just stab it in, pull it out, right? And now what I'm doing is I just want to heat it up, make sure that there's, you know, if there was any air or anything like that, to melt that all out. And now, uh-oh, I see I got a little air bubble on the stem there, which means that the stem had a little divot in it. So when I stabbed it in there, a little tiny air bubble in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's okay, because this is only the second attempt here. Alright, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull this stem out and the tip just slightly, just a little bit. I'm just going to touch it here and pull it out ever so slightly, just like that. And make sure that's even pull. And what this is for is so with that little bit of a point on there, I'll be able to add a little color to the tip now, and we'll turn that into the mushroom cap. Now we're going to use that purple. We're going to see how this purple looks. I'm going to reduce the oxygen a little bit just to soften it. I don't want to bubble or boil this color here. I don't know. I've never used it before, so I'm going to go real gentle with it. So now I'm going to just push a little bit of this color right on the center. Oh, hold on one second. Before we do this, I definitely want to, I did this last time. Do I have one ready? Oh man, I need a black and white twisted cane. If I had a black and white twisted cane, that would be really dope. I don't have one. I don't know if I have a white one that's white good enough. Well, maybe. Let's see what this does here. Just a little effect for the gills underneath. And we got to make sure that we keep this heated. Last time I had issues with it trying to crack on me. And especially with this air bubble in here, so we definitely got to make sure that's heated. Alright, now what I did was I added just a little bit of like a twisted, little bit of twisted color on the end there. So that'll look kind of like the gills. Now, it's not as good as I want it to be. I definitely want to do a better detail of a twisted cane, like black and white, to really make those gills pop out underneath the mushroom. But I think this is going to work pretty good. We just got to get this centered here. Alright, now the trick is stabbing that gill directly onto the stem there, and then just enough color to wrap around and make that mushroom. Alright, we'll pull off the excess color here. Alright, I'm just going to terminate this at the end here. And also I'm just wiping it right back onto the color rod. That way I'm not wasting any of that color. And I'll just melt it back in. There's no air bubbles, nothing like that. And it should be fine for the next mushroom cap or whatever we use it for. Alright, so now we got that color on the tip there. Right? We're going to keep this all nice and warm, keep this whole entire piece hot. That way it doesn't crack all the way through. And then we'll shape out this the mushroom cap as well here. All right, and let me bring up the live chat here. So this is only the second attempt at making one of these after watching Revere Glass. I really don't know how long Revere Glass has been blowing glass. I think he probably got started around 2000 or something like that. Probably about as long as I've been doing glass. Maybe in the 90s, late 90s, I'm not sure. Alright, so now I'm going to use my paddle here, and we're just going to force the mushroom cap down on the sides just a little bit. Just draw it down. So that way those gills are kind of pushed up in there. So now you're going to have that like clear glass, or that empty area, to be kind of forced underneath the color here. And I'm also forcing that color to become more of the shape of that clear glass, you see? So now you can't really tell that it's a separate piece. It just looks like it's painted on the tip there. And at this point now is where we're going to add the dots. And as my wife suggested, glow in the dark. I don't know if they're going to be too small of dots to actually glow. So this could be a waste of glow in the dark. But it's, well, you won't know until you try, right? You don't know until you know. All right, so here we go. Let's add some dots here. So now we're going to bring the flame down real small here. And what I like to do is go in with a bunch of little tiny dots. All over the place. And then come in with some bigger dots. So then I can fit those in between and take up a little bit of that extra space. And then we'll heat them all up and we'll see what kind of empty space we might have here and there. And then put in a couple little tiny dots here and there. Alright. So now we got those dots put on the top there. So then we'll melt all that in. We gotta keep the whole piece nice and warm as well. So I'll just heat it up. I'll have my hand facing this way with the flame, and that way all that heat shoots up the rod. It's actually shooting towards my hands. I gotta be real careful to not flash that flame into my hand. Melting down all the glow-in-the-dark dots there. Yeah, that looks real nice. And now, I'm just going to heat it up for a minute and make sure that the clear glass and the color from the mushroom cap, that they actually adhere as one. And it all becomes a one smooth piece of glass. Alright, perfect. So now there should be no like crease or any sort of like a line or anything there. It should just be nice, smooth, all one piece of glass, all nice and smooth. And then you can see that color on the mushroom cap there. So it's all one piece of glass now, all smooth and all combined together. And now we do the magic of basically getting another piece of clear glass here and sandwiching them together in a way that oh wow, that looks like it has some cracks. I'm gonna have to pull this off. Well, here, just get another piece of glass. That's not hot, right? Okay. So just clean that up. Make sure all the fingerprints and dust is off. Any dirt and debris. Alright, we'll just keep that nice and warm. We'll put that on the back of the flame. Mostly on the bottom half. I really don't need the mushroom cap hot. It's going to be interesting to see a purple mushroom cap. suggested by my wife Serena. So we'll see how this turns out, love. I believe she goes by Serena Solutions here on YouTube. You can give her a follow. Or maybe she's Serena's Creations. I'm not sure. I don't know if she's Solutions or Creations, which channel she has going yet on YouTube. Because I don't think she utilizes it very much yet. But I know she will probably soon. Alright, so we got this all nice and warm. We got that mushroom nice and warm. And we're going to get this one here, the clear one, all molten. So this one's all warm and ready for the glass to be joined together. I'm just going to keep that in the back. We don't want it molten. I don't want it to be too hot on the mushroom cap, because I don't want the mushroom cap to get flattened or to lose any of its shape. I want it to stay nice and round, just like that. Because I'm going to force this clear glass directly over it. Or we're going to push this into the clear glass here. And that's going to happen in just a moment. I'm going to get this a little bit more hotter, add a little more oxygen to it. Alright, we're going to get this nice and hot, but not molten. And we're about to stab it in here. Here we go. Here goes the magic. Stab it in. Make sure that that clear glass goes all the way around it. The only way I can tell is by looking through the top and seeing that it's completely surrounded. And then I'll just heat this up here. We'll get this all nice and melt it down together all as one piece. And I'll use my paddle or my pad here on the table to just help bring it down some little bit, reduce it little at a time. I don't want to capture any air bubble underneath the crease here, so I definitely want to be real careful on how this all melts down and melts together here. Now, one thing that I keep forgetting is that this always ends up with this shorter end here. I need to start off with the longer one, or have just two longer ones. So we'll cut some rod here for the next one. That way we're not using a bunch of short ends here. I can really feel the heat from the torch on my right hand. Alright, I'm really happy with how this mushroom got pushed in there. It stayed nice and round. I don't know if it flattened up any. The first one that I ever attempted, the very top on where I smashed that all the way down and around it, it got flattened a little bit. And I don't know if this one also did so or not. We'll go back to the pad. Just spin it here. Help to reduce it down. So I'm just trying to melt down, you see that where they're connected right there, I'm trying to melt down that top portion into that bottom portion there. Also, I'm feeling my arm here. My right arm is starting to get that numb feeling once again. I just had an idea for the gills underneath. Instead of doing a spiral like I was thinking and then just wrapping it around, what I may do is just draw a bunch of dots, like white dots on top of like a darker color black, like the eclipse that we use. And then I'll stretch it, I'll pull it like a, you know, like a stringer. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll pull it into a stringer, and that way I can just like push it directly into the color, and it'll spread out to look like gills, is my idea. I don't know if it'll work. Ooh, maybe what I could do is add a twisted cane around something horizontally, but then pull it vertically and give it that line work. It's pulling horizontal lines to a vertical kind of connection. I don't know if my, hey Serena, if you're watching, and you have an opportunity to come back here, I don't know if you want this elongated, if you'd like it as a flat back, if you want it all clear, like the very first one, and then pulled long, kind of. I can make it a flat back. Hello. But I don't know if it's going to be kind of big if I stretch it out any thinner this way, then it'll deform the cap a little bit, but I can flatten it on the back. I can leave it clear to where you can see the detail all the way through. I can add a color backing to it. I can elongate it just slightly and leave it like how the...
and it doesn't need to be a flat back like this. I mean, because I don't know how it would look too flat.
Like, let's see how this one is. See?
Yeah.
That one's a lot skinnier.
So would it just have a little loop on it?
Oh yeah, I can put a loop, I can make it exactly like that shape and style.
Mm-hmm.
It just won't be as thin. I mean, I might be able to pull it a little bit. I'm trying to right now. I just didn't know if you wanted it like any different than that one. Because we're at that point where I could put a flat back on it, I can add color to the background, and I can leave it just like this. I know.
Your options are
I know.
endless there.
Just keep it simple like this then.
Alright, we'll see how it comes out then.
Okay.
I'm glad I heard you.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm going to go back out.
Alright, thanks, bro. Okay. So I'm just going to keep it clear then. And that way we can just keep it towards, you can see the detail all the way around it. Because if I put a background on it, you know, then you can't like spin it around and see all the detail all the way around. Now the only thing is that this one has a little bit of air bubble on that bottom, which I don't know if I can get rid of or not. I might be able to move it all the way up to the top. You know, air does rise, but it's not like trying to let an air bubble rise up water. You know, to get an air bubble to rise up molten glass takes a lot of heat and a little bit of time. All right, I was able to stretch it out some. I didn't want to lose that shape, but that is a beauty right there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. These are going to just come out better and better every time. I know that Revere Glass, what he did is he pulled the bottom off and he added like some colors going around the bottom there to kind of make it look like it was in grass, you know, things like that. I kind of like the floating mushroom. I showed one of my friends he was blowing glass with me way back in like, you know, 90, 98, 99, 2000. I don't know how long he did it for. He went for a while and then he ended up becoming a carpenter and doing other work. I don't know if he still has his torch. If he has his torch, I'd love to see if he could still get on and still rock out pendants and things. But it was cool to show him, you know, and this is something that we probably were trying to do long ago and never were able to figure it out. So that's why I got to give a huge shout out to Revere Glass for sharing how he did it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes it so easy. I get it now. And I don't know why I never try to just do this on my own. But sometimes, you know, it takes seeing another artist do something, and you're like, ah, I could do something like that, you know? Like, this isn't exactly the way Revere Glass does it. And that's a cool thing is that, you know, we all have our own styles and ways that we do it. You know, like I said, he did the encasement way, whereas I just went straight up, stabbed it in like I did. Woo. That looks so nice. I'm trying to thin it out a little bit because I want it to be nice and comfortable. And I'm going to see if I can move that air bubble up. And if I can, I might be able to just pinch it right out. We'll see. So this glass is already hot right there on my fingers. Hot. Alright, so now I'm going to pull this off. We're going to take it off the original rod it started from. So this is where we stabbed the stem into. And we're going to remove this rod, the original rod here now. And we'll clean up the end here so it's ready for another for the next piece that we work on, whatever that may be. All right, so now that's ready to go. Alright, I'm gonna switch my hands here because my right arm is doing its thing and starting to get weird, go numb on me, making my fingers go numb. So I'm gonna go with the left hand here as we try to I'm just gonna get this tip really, really molten, and I'm gonna clean it up. And we're going to try to remove the air bubble that's inside here. And try to just have it float upward if I can. So I'm just getting the tip all molten now. I'm holding it pretty much vertical and trying to just get that heat to penetrate down where that air bubble is, so that way it can just slowly rise up. And rise up. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually make this happen or not. It's a very long distance for it to go. But we'll see. And the other thing too is that there's such a long stem there that I can really probably go in there and pull it without having to worry about losing too much of it, you know? Yeah, that's pretty much like right on the end there. Nice. Cool. What air bubble? I don't know what y'all are talking about. There was never an air bubble. Here, then we'll just make sure that this is nice and terminate it properly. Woo, that's going to be a really nice size now. Pulling all that excess glass off, stretching it out some, getting rid of the air bubble. So as you can see, you know, making the detailed mushroom, you definitely want to put the extra, you know, a little bit of time and dedication into the detail work like that. You know, you don't want to make something so really nice and then you got a flaw like an air bubble in there. Unless you know, there's times when we definitely put air bubbles in there. I see another little flaw, so I'm removing it off the surface of the glass. There's just another little tiny air bubble. I just wanted to get rid of it, just make it nice and clean. And that's the difference between, you know, getting something from like India or China, whereas, you know, you get something that's handmade, handcrafted, and, you know, a lot of energy and effort taken into each piece, making each piece one of a kind and individual and very beautiful and unique. You know, which is why we can put a $50 value on these pendants here, you know. But if you ever see me out and about, I'll probably let them go for 40 bucks real easy, and maybe I might be generous and allow two for 50 or something like that, you know. I'm usually pretty generous with my glass. Alright, I really, really love that I can stretch out that color that much and still be able to have a really long and beautiful pendant. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't realize I lost you. Sorry about that. You weren't missing much, but just me melting things down and stretching, I guess. But yeah, check it out. Look at that. Beautiful stem going all the way down. And then it does have some sort of gill work underneath it. It's not just purple. You can see it's got that like kind of white coloring in there. It should have been just, what did I put in there? Oh yeah, it was like a butterscotch or caramel twisted up. But I'll work on that to make that even more detailed for the next one. Alright, so let's finish this off. Uh-oh, we didn't turn the kiln on. Alright, let's get this kiln up to temperature. Oops. I'm just now seeing on the video, moving the camera all around because you guys had slowly slipped over time. I didn't realize that this camera was just moving over time and losing its balance here. Alright. So now to finish it off, we simply just get a puntee. And a puntee is just, you know, a scrap piece of glass that's long enough to be able to handle and has a nice clean end on one side so where you can melt it, stick it. You don't want to use any color on clear glass, but if you're working color glass, you may want to use the same color for a puntee so you're not sticking any clear glass to it or having any clear glass remain on there when you break it off, you know. Yeah, that's a really nice shape there. Alright, I just want to make sure it's all nice and round everywhere where I had worked on it and pulled some of that glass off on the edges, on the sides, and then stretching it out. You know, I just want to make sure that it's all nice and smooth, that the flow of everything just goes well. You know, if this is a $50 pendant, then I want to make sure it's worth it. Put the time and energy and effort into it. Woo! That came out real nice. Alright, I'm going to finish this off. I can't just let it cool down. You'll be able to see it here in a moment. Attached to puntee, it's like a tack weld, so it's not fused together. Huh. Now I gotta figure out which end do I want it to be the front. I guess I want the biggest dots in front because if it's a glow in the dark, you want that to be the where it's gonna glow, if it's gonna glow, right? Alright, here we go. Gotta figure that out right now. Where's the front? Right there. Boom. Alright, so then I always pull it forward to the front, and then we'll bring this back around. And then we got to clean that up. You don't want it to look like any weird Chinese pendant, all unfinished. And I got nothing against China. I just know that Chinese glass is very made extremely quick. Indian glass from India, you know, the Mexican glass too. you know, but they're making things so fast and like in a sweatshop that it's really changing up the pricing of the market. And unless you know that you're buying something that's, you know, really handcrafted, locally made by a well-known artist, you know, then you're just going to get some sort of anything or whatever, you know, just if that's all you need is just a smoking accessory or an adornment piece of jewelry, and it doesn't matter on who made it or what the quality is. You just want it to be a blue pendant or red pendant or got to have a flower or whatever it is. You know, that's perfectly fine. You know, there's definitely a difference in high quality jewelry compared to costume jewelry. And I would say that the jewelry, the glass jewelry that comes from like India and China, you know, it looks really nice, but it's like costume jewelry glass, like costume glass jewelry is what I would call it, you know. They don't really take the time to make sure everything is nice and straight and beautiful. Look at that purple cap. That is crazy looking. Oh my god. Ain't that a beauty? Good job on the design, Serena, with the purple. All right, we're gonna make another one, but we're gonna go with the original red, the Amanita red. So let's finish this off. You see how smooth that puntee just came right off like butter. The other thing too is the kiln needs to reach temperature here, so I gotta kind of just hold it in the flame for a minute to keep this warm. So we'll make sure this is nice and round and perfect and beautiful. This is for Happy Mushroom Day. It's coming up here really soon. Happy Mushroom Day, guys. Coming up. Happy early Mushroom Day. So that'll be here really soon. Look at that beauty. I wish that we could make glass that would just glow like that all the time in the daylight. That would be so ridiculous. But then see how it cools down and then those colors just come right back. And that it looks like it's red, but then it's gonna go to its purple. It's just glowing hot. It's so hot it looks red, but it's actually purple. Alright, here comes that purple now. Slowly, slowly coming out. That's pretty cool. You know, it looks more of like a brownish purple. You know, some of the purples that we have aren't so great, but I also don't know. Like it needs to cool down still. It may look extremely purple like this. So that's the purple that I use, and it kind of faded out, kind of grayed or white, you know. But we'll see. We'll see what that looks like here in after it's all been fired up. And yeah, the purple's coming out more and more. Woo, that's a beauty. Got rid of that air bubble too. That thing was halfway up the stem. Or down the stem, whichever way you want to look at it. Oh, I love that you can like look right up into there. Once I get that the gills all set, That's gonna look so amazing. Ooh, and if I can make gills with the glow in the dark, I don't know if they'll glow though, because they'll be so thin. You know, some of the glass, you know, you thin it out and it loses that property. Alright, I'm just reheating it up just so it doesn't crack. That's all. About to drop it in the kiln though, because the kiln, it gets hot pretty quickly. It's already in the, let me see. It's in the few hundredths already. I wish I could bring it up to high, but I gotta do it real slow. I'm worried if I put it in the kiln at 300, it's not gonna be hot enough. Got all that glow in the dark. Got the new purple that I don't really know how it reacts. If I put it in the kiln now, it might just crack on us. And all that time would be wasted, and I don't want to waste it. So I'd rather just spend a little bit more time hand annealing it, you know, just keeping it nice and warm like this. And just hand annealing it and protecting it from cooling down way too fast. Making sure it stays nice and straight. You know, sometimes when you heat it up, it starts to move on you. So you want to make sure that stays really nice and straight. Alright, let's see where we're at now. It's at 420. I'm not even lying. It's 421 now. 422, 423. We'll be up to 500 here soon, and then I'll feel safe. Because then it'll just keep on going up, you know, from 500, it'll go up to 6, 7. And the heat from the flame right here, from annealing it like this, will also contribute to adding heat to the kiln and just keeping this nice and warm. You just don't want to shock it and go from hot to cold and extremes like that if it hasn't been kilned yet. Alright, we get one more look, one more last look right here. Cool, we're at 450, so like I said, at 450 I would even be, I think it'd be safe to put it in. Alright, we'll heat it up one more time and then it's going in. Just want to make sure that heat penetrates into the color to make sure that the inside of that mushroom is annealed properly. Cool. And you know, it probably would even be fine if I put it on the table. It's not that cold today. But, you know, you definitely want to put items like this directly in the kiln. Alright, here we go. Okay. Let's move on to the next one here. Just give my arm a little bit of a stretch. We'll bring this camera up again. All right. However, this time I said we were going to start with a new rod here. So let me get that out of the corner. And we'll get this all cut up here. So we now got a large 5-foot 16 millimeter rod here. All right. We're gonna cut this down real quick. So it's called flame cutting, where you just, you put your rod in the flame. And if you notice, the glass did not explode or shatter or crack or anything in this extreme heat. This is borosilicate glass. It's a special glass that can withstand very extreme heats, going from cold to hot. This is the bakeware Pyrex glass that most people know about. The same makeup of glass, the coefficiency of glass, the thermal expansion and breakdown of it, and the cooling, how fast or how slow it can cool and heat up, things like that. So this is exactly the same thing as what your bakeware is made out of. Alright, so there's one. And then we'll cut this one in half as well. And then we'll have 3. So basically you just hold it in the same area. I rock it back and forth like that so I can see where that hot spot is and make sure it's centered with the flame there. And it heats up a little bit more of the section. And then once it gets molten, I can bend it like this. And I know it's pretty much ready to start to get stretched. So I'll slowly stretch it. It'll pull away from itself, but then right when it's getting thin, I do a little spin around itself to help break it off, and then you end up with 2 clean ends just like that. This one's hot on both ends, so I have to remember that, and I have to always place this in a place where I'm going to be careful not to mess around and accidentally touch it. And also make sure that it's not touching any other glass or anything like that, because I don't want it accidentally touch an end of a piece of glass that should be cold, because the ends are always the cold ends and the hot pieces are always up here. But this now has double heat. So I put the warm side here, the molten side up there. Alright, so this one's ready to go. This time, I'm going to see if I can purposely make it a little smaller so I don't have to reduce the size, which also in turn should allow me to make it a little quicker and utilize less color, less glass, but have the same detail and same effect. Alright, so I'm just going to pull this end, make it nice and clean. So now we got a stringer right here off the color rod, and you can see how tiny that piece is, but it's okay because I'm just going to be stabbing it in and not, this piece isn't going to get all molten like the other pieces. And we'll stab this one in just the same, but not as deep. And hopefully no air bubbles will occur at all. So we don't have to worry about that. So, and that's why I melted down that color a lot more real quick, and then I pulled it to make sure we didn't have any sort of like divots or wrinkles or creases or anything like that. So this is basically just called gathering. We're going to gather the tip of the rod here, get it molten, get that fine point to round out into a, you know, a rounded end of the rod, and we'll heat up a lot more area, kind of like a, you know, trying to marble it up some, and that way when we stab it in, and stab this color in, it'll not mushroom out, or at least we don't want it to. We could stab it in deep and make it mushroom out, but we're gonna make sure that we're gonna stab it in and not mushroom. All right, so here we go. Gonna get it ready. Switch over to the left hand. Make sure this is all ready to get stabbed. We stab it in till it mushrooms. We pull it back out. And ta-da! Just like that. And then you got that nice little point on there already. And you just want to kind of round up that area there, and you can also use your paddle like this and keep that point on it. I can see I would prefer to terminate this a little bit better on the tip, so I'm going to just grab that color, pull it up to the tip of the clear a little bit better, more centered. There we go. And now that'll also help with getting that mushroom cap on there. And let's make sure that stays up. Sorry about the movement of the camera, guys. I'm trying to keep the audio away from the fan and the flame, so I got you guys pushed back a little bit over there. Alright, so now we're going to keep this small still. Like I said, we're going to do everything very tiny. Alright, this time we're going to get the red, which I believe this is cherry, maybe crayon red, but I don't remember 100% what it is. I believe it's cherry red though. Oh, and we didn't do the gill. What do we do now? Supposed to do the gill portion. Again. I forgot. So we just add another little twisty cane on the end here to try to mimic what gills would look like by just twisting this around that edge of color there. Nice. Alright, keep this warm. We don't want this to crack on us. And then stab that directly on there and getting that color to wrap around on all sides. That way we can cover up the gills there. You want to make sure those gills aren't sticking out the top end of the or on, you know, on the outer end of the mushroom cap. Alright, just terminating this and cleaning it up some. Adding that color glass right back to the color rod. You can see one side needs to be pushed down a little bit more, so I'm going to force it down with the paddle here. Alright, and then we're back to that point again where we got the mushroom and the stem right in there. Just like that. Why? Is it this? I don't know what part is loose. Okay. And then we'll add the all the dots. We'll do that with the glow in the dark once again. Alright, then the dots are at it. See a couple little empty spots. Alright. Couple, like two. Alright, now I'm going to get all this melted together with the clear. So I don't know if this is much quicker. Still about the same amount of time and detail work and everything. Maybe a little less melting once we get to this point here. So now we need the other piece of glass. We'll get this one here with the cool end instead of the hot end. We'll let that other one still cool down. But now we have a lot heavier pieces of glass to work with in each hand. So the weight of this is going to really do a number on my right arm here. But we'll get this molten and over the mushroom cap here. And the way that I like doing this is a little bit different than Revere glass. Revere glass will draw those lines around the mushroom cap and encase it, and then encase a little, get some air bubbles trapped in there. Whereas this way, if you do it just right, with just the right amount of heat, you won't smash the detail work out, and you'll be able to get the glass to adhere to each other, you know, really, really well. I'm just getting this warm again, making sure that that clear glass underneath the cap has got that nice glow to it. Alright, there we go. So just like that, and we're going to stab this over here. Alright, here we go. And then the trick is melting this down now. And maybe that's why Revere glass doesn't do it this way, because then, you know, you have to really hold them in place and not allow them to spin. It takes a while to melt this down. You know, it does take a while. I won't lie about that. But this way seems to be coming together pretty quickly and nicely, with it being a little bit smaller. Maybe that's the trick here. Ooh, man. Last one gets so hard when your hand goes numb. I can feel my right shoulder, my deltoid is just tightening up so much right now. Very interesting to be able to feel that and to know exactly where it's coming from. And I can't do anything. It's not like I can put this piece of glass down right now, or else this will lose its shape and everything. I'll mash it. So I just have to go with it. But yeah, that actually melted down a lot quicker. Cool. All right. Now my left arm is doing the same thing. What's going on? I've never had the issue in both hands at the same time. I'm gonna have to get some work done on my shoulders here. Alright. Alright, I'm going to cut this off. That way we have at least one arm. I can start stretching out. This is interesting. Both hands just went numb on me. Oh my gosh, my right hand is just, it feels weird. My thumb is all tingly. Okay, I'm just going to set that down. I'll deal with that later. Okay. I can feel like the blood and everything just flowing back into my hands and my fingers. It's so weird. You got like some kind of nerve issue going on where it's cutting off the feeling and sensation. When I lock my shoulders up like this right here, it just, something happens. Alright, so I can see the gills on this one. This one's going to have to be scrapped or sold for a lot less, I guess. I did not line this one up properly. Alright, but this is only the third attempt. And I got to remember, we got to build the gills up on this next one. That way I'm not just doing the all half-assed like that. You know, I actually remember attempting to make these long ago, and I think they kind of sort of almost came out, but I didn't really know how to keep the shaping of it so they wouldn't flatten out. And I think that's why I gave up on them. I just had like a flashback real quick, like, I've done this before. They're just like the flowers that we make, the vertical flowers, which are really awesome to make as well. Alright. Take a look. So you can see just how nice and smooth all that glass is, all one piece now. You can see the mushroom coming out there, all glowing. And then we just get the punchy, and we'll do the same thing as we always do. We'll just pull it off. So that one, I believe, was a lot quicker. And, you know, the only way we'll be able to know is by watching the video and going back to the truth and seeing. Because anytime you record anything, that's the truth right there. Like whatever got recorded, that's the truth. You know, you always go into the studio, you go and record your music. Whatever you're putting out, that's like what it is right there. Alright, I'm going to do my best to hide the gills that are popping out and put that on the back side of this one. Oh, punchy fell off. Accident happened. Alright. That wasn't supposed to happen. I was paying attention to where the gills were. I accidentally touched the torch. Alright, here we go. Boom. It'd be cool if Revere Glass actually was watching, chimed in, let me know what he thought on my technique on you know, just smashing it up in there into the molten glass. Revere Glass, he's really cool. He's on I watch him on YouTube. I know he's got a lot of different online outlets and things like that. But I watch him on YouTube, and he's got a lot of cool stuff like torch reviews and glass reviews and hand tool reviews and all this stuff. And he goes to the different like glass events and festivals and all this stuff. And so he really brings it, you know, to the rest of the world. Really cool. I really like what he does and what he shares. So I do appreciate him and his work. So thank you, Revere Glass, and all you do. Hopefully, he's watching and he's gotten in this far in the video. So that's why I'm saying right now, just to see, maybe he'd come in and watch the whole video. That would be really cool. I watch his videos. It'd be cool if he comes and watches mine. Alright. Now, this is a done deal. We got that red in there. And those dots are pretty prominent. That looks like the one the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland stood on, huh? Alright. We'll drop another one in the kiln. I'll make one or two more here live. How long we been going? Hour and a half? What do you think? Should we do one more? One more, one more, one more. It's like a band, right? You always get that encore, right? One more. Yeah, we got to redeem ourselves because you see the gills are popping out just a little bit right there. See that white? That wasn't supposed to happen. But maybe, I mean, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, sometimes the gills do pop up a little like that. That looks kind of cool. I should have kept that in the front. Come on, huh? That actually looks alright. That should have been in the front. Oh well. Going in the kiln, c'est la vie. Alright, let's do one more for the camera. I'll be making more throughout the day, but we'll do one more for the camera here. And then I'm going to go take a smoke break and get some breakfast going. And I'm hungry. I'm so glad I didn't go do yard work today. This is a lot better. Okay, let's do it. And it'll be good. We'll do one more and then I'll give my arm a break, you know. from holding this up for too long, and my hand and my arm going numb and everything. Alright, so we're at the point where we're going to get the stem stabbed in here. We're going to keep this one small again to try to keep it quick. This time I'm going to look at the time. So we're at 11:37. Alright, 37, lucky number. Alright. Let's get this in. We didn't do the gills again. How funny. Well, what you want to do? So silly. There. We're going to use this little tight spin. And what color are we doing? We're going to go with the red again. Red again. Alright. Alright, let's try that. I don't know how that's going to look. Alright, I think I got the gills all the way in underneath this time. Alright, now do the dots. This time, I'm just going to add big dots everywhere. And then tiny dots in between. Alright. Now we added a lot of big dots there to really, if it can glow, then it should glow with these big dots. Alright, and then we just get the colors all melted in. And then we'll just cap it with that clear. My arm's doing alright for now. Alright, so this will be number 3 here for the day for now. And I'm going to let y'all go. But I appreciate you coming in and watching, hanging out for the whole time. Okay, I can see that my stem, or the mushroom stem, it looks a little crooked. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to give this a little bit of a lean-to. Alright. I don't know if you can see that little bit of a lean. You see how it goes on one side a little bit more than the other? See that? I mean, when it's centered, it looks great, right? Centered looks awesome. This way, centered looks awesome. But it's not completely centered there. It is what it is, though. Alright, let's get this one melted here. We'll cover it up. Alright, so I'm just getting this part molten here. And then we're going to encase the top of the mushroom cap. This will be the last one for the day for you guys. And it's almost noon here, but we're going to go have breakfast. We start our day a little bit later here when our daughter's not here for school. And usually it's not till about lunchtime. Alright, so now we're going to get this all encased. Here we go. Alright, so now we're just going to fuse these two pieces together here. And what I may do is just cut this off right away. So then I can just do this with two hands on one rod and not go and make my hand get numb. It's going to be a little bit different of a process. So that way I can use the strength of both hands here. Alright. That way I can I won't have to melt it all down forever and get both hands where they go numb. And I'll just cut it off and I'll just melt this down now. And then I can use two hands here. So that way it's not all the weight on just my one arm here. So sometimes there's tricks like that that you have to use. Dang, this thing keeps on. Well, it just wants to stand straight up vertical, huh? Well, what you doing there, son? All right. I'm not sure how this one is going to turn out now, doing it this way. I don't know how straight everything's going to come out is all. So that's why we always do trial and error, right? And see what works and what doesn't. I can see part of the color isn't fully encased, and I'm thinking, well, if that's the problem, then I'm going to have to force the bottom portion upward and in. So in order to do that, you got to get this part molten, smash it down. All right, cool, working. There's all kinds of ways to manipulate molten glass and make it do what you want it to do. Once you get to that point, being able to really, really learn how to move it around and shape it and sculpt it. Cool, all right. Now the color's back underneath the clear, where it's supposed to be. That's good. All right. Now we'll be able to focus on all this glass up here and move this down and over. And once again, I see another little piece of glass I don't want there. So we'll wipe that off. Alright, so now just trying to manipulate that clear glass and pushing it over the cap in the center there. That way it can engulf all the way around it, have a little bit more space from the outer edge of this pendant here. I'm really wondering how the gills are going to look on this one. That one was a lot different compared to how I did the other one. Well, not a lot different, but different color and a lot smaller. More detail work there. I can see the gills under there. That's going to look pretty cool. Okay, this one's a little bit off center, so I'm going to purposely make it go a little wonky and crooked to try to bend it back into form here. So I did that on purpose. And then we're going to bend it on the top to bring it back up here now. And that should straighten up the whole entire thing. Like I said, once you get to a point of learning where you want to heat the glass and how to move it and shape it, you can really control it and move it around just like that. You know, without having to use any hand tools or anything, just using the gravity and using the flame and being able to really get that glass to move around and shape the way where you want it to go. Alright, well I wasn't too happy with how I sandwiched that clear glass over it. So the mushroom cap on this is a little bit more umbrellaed. That's how I'm going to describe it. Looks like an umbrella more than an actual mushroom cap. Here, let me see if I can get you guys a better balance there. Okay. So as you can see, I don't know, it looks a little bit more umbrella to me, but it looks cool. I guess once it's coloring in, it's like, okay, that's really looking cool now. Alright, so then we'll just take this off once again. And this is another done deal. I see one of those spots. I'm like, okay, we can actually melt that down just a little bit better. It just looks like there's like kind of a divot or like, you know, a bend in the glass, and I didn't really like the way that looked. You know, if someone's gonna be spending, you know, 50 bucks, 40 bucks on these, I really want to make sure that it is a very beautiful piece. From the inside out, everything, the whole shaping and everything. You know, one thing I'm thinking is, these may actually deserve a little bit better of a bail on top. And I may actually want to start doing that. And giving them a little bit proper of a bail, a little bit better, more professional looking, just nicer. A nicer quality bail. Okay, yeah, I got rid of that little weird bend that I was talking about. That looks so much better. See, just a little bit extra work, you know, an extra minute or so, and you can really get this how you want it. Sometimes people don't take that little extra minute or two, and you can really tell that, you know, the piece looks like it's flattened on one side or just not as rounded as it can and should be. I mean, yes, we flatten our glass from time to time, but it's not, here, I want to redo that punchy actually. There we go. Alright, and I think I may actually go on ahead and do what I was just talking about and really give this a really nice bail. It's something a little bit different. All I'm going to do is just leave a little bit of a nub on top. We're going to flatten it, and then it's going to be just a wider, like a barrel loop, basically, on top. Alright, so to make this, I'm simply going to use my my pad and paddle here, and we're going to smash it down. Going to round it up and smash it. Alright, we're going to see how this works. I don't know. Alright, so now we're going to grab this kind of sideways. I don't know if this is worth it or not, all this extra time here. Be nice if I had me a pair of scissors right here and I could just cut right through these. Like I said, I don't know if it's worth all this extra time. I don't know if it's going to make it look any better, if it's going to actually make it look worse. But we'll find out. There's no going back now. Well, I guess there always is a going back. You can always just remove it and add more glass to it. But a lot of times you don't want to be doing that. Once you make a piece, you're like, okay, that's good, I'm done. Alright, now I got to clean that up. And we definitely need to figure out what we're going to do with this. Why? Is this the one? This is, right? Yeah. I don't know if I can tighten that up any better. Just slowly keeps coming down, huh? I don't know, what y'all think? That makes it look any better? That's kind of cool, nice and thick. Completely different. I'm trying to round up this end just a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Alright, well there's another different way, different style, technique right there that I'll have available as well. Yeah, that looks nice. That came out pretty good. Bigger, a lot thicker, more stronger. That thing won't break you anytime soon. You can see it's a little thicker on that back side than the other side. I'm just going to thicken up the front and it'll match up how thick that other part is in the back. There we go. Now we're in balance. Whee! There we go, look at that. See how clean that? It was thicker on one side and now it's a lot cleaner. Alright guys, I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I'm Dan the Glassman. This is the Glassman's World. And you've been watching me make a bunch of really, really awesome detailed Amanita mushroom pendants. Alright. I'm going to drop this in the kiln. I'm going to let y'all go. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you soon. Here, one more last look. Last look. Alright, last look. Here we go. There you are, guys. Alright, we'll see ya. Love and blessings.